Welcome to the video, guys. You might remember the other day I covered the story about the farms in the UK needing workers to pick the fruit and veg this summer, and how, rather than interviewing the many thousands of applicants, they instead chose to charter flights, bringing Romanians over here, while we are all locked down in our homes, unable to go out as we please. Now, on social media at the time, there was multiple reports suggesting that the farms offering jobs were making it difficult for UK applicants to even apply or get interviews at, and the conditions of the jobs were in some cases completely ridiculous, like forcing them to live on site when they only live down the road, and even more heinous things, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, along with the reports I was speaking about a moment ago suggesting farm conditions were not ideal or in some cases atrocious, we also had the age-old nonsense pumped out that the Brits were too lazy to work on farms. Well, for once, The Guardian has actually come out with an article that is not talking complete nonsense and is actually defending the people of this country. Imagine my shock. But it headlines, "Just not true. We're too lazy for farm work, say frustrated UK applicants. Job seekers take issue with pay and terms and allege farmers are favouring migrant labour," which is something we have all suspected for a while. British applicants for jobs harvesting crops have said farmers have made it virtually impossible for them to secure the work, despite a national appeal for a land army to save the UK's fruit and vegetables, which I covered at the time. Dozens of workers have expressed their anger at claims they are too lazy or picky to take the jobs, alleging that farmers are favouring cheap migrant labour. Offers of on-site accommodation in which 3 or 4 workers share a caravan were among the most frequent complaints on social media and in emails to The Guardian, after reports that thousands of British workers had turned down jobs and Romanians were being flown in to pick salad. Which is yet again what I covered the other day, and maybe we're going to get some answers as to why so many Brits actually turned down these jobs, and to be honest, I don't blame them. Che Honey in Bristol, whose work on festivals has disappeared, said the paying conditions of the farm work were difficult to justify. "I live with my fiancée, and to live on site would mean I would only have 1 day a week for friends and family." They also said you can't use your own vehicle, which makes getting out to the shops very difficult, and is also completely ridiculous, since even with the government's new legislation about the coronavirus, they still can't stop you driving around in your car to go to the shops. It's just incredible. Very quickly, the romance of going to work for a farm to help provide food for the nation has become very unattractive, he said. Yeah, it sounds like living in mainland China under the Communist Party's regime. It seems it is very much geared up for migrant labour, which it is. We are not looking for special treatment, but the whole system needs to have some flexibility and not just have this blanket approach. Yeah, it shouldn't have that approach at all. You should be able to live where you want to. Genevieve Black in South Wales said she had been unsuccessful in applications for 10 jobs despite being willing to live on site in Kent, Hampshire or Scotland. The idea that Brits are just too lazy to work on farms is just not true, she said. She is part of a Facebook group, Jobs for Camper Nomads, which is awash with criticism of the farming industry. One poster suggested that farmers could allow applicants with their own camper vans to live on site. "We are forever being told that these are unprecedented times and we are all in it together. UK berry farmers, not so much. I am sure, with a bit of thought, a workable solution can be found." Well, they obviously don't want one. It benefits them doing it the way they are doing it, likely through the rent income that they make. Who actually knows, though? Alison Harrow, an England athletics running coach seeking farm work, said she was feeling really discouraged. "I've applied for 200 jobs, and you either get, 'we've got enough people now,' or you don't hear anything back." Well, if they have jobs coming up at the end of May or June, why don't they just allocate those now and just confirm a job? Which I'd have to agree with. I get an email from one farm work recruiter saying I have not been shortlisted. How can this be? There seems to be a mismatch between demand for workers and matching workers to farms. Nick Marston, the chair of British Summer Fruits, said the business model of fruit farming had been structured around a non-UK workforce for many years because UK workers had shunned the work. Well, if you're forcing them to live on the farm and not giving them access to their own cars, I'm not surprised they've shunned the work, let's be honest. It's supposed to be a farm, not a forced labour camp. Farms are receiving large numbers of applications, and I think it would be unfair to say the industry is not accommodating local workforce. Well, given the reports we've heard on here and the many others on social media, I would say it's likely that they are not accommodating the local workforce, and instead would prefer to import them from any other country they can find, especially Eastern Europe. He appealed for patience among the army of would-be pickers, saying the season had barely started and that there would be a surge in job opportunities at the end of May and June. Well, apparently there was a surge already. What's happened to them? Why are you flying people in there while you've got people in this country waiting in the wings to take these jobs? But it's about time the Guardian actually called out something like this, instead of allowing these companies to run around calling the UK public lazy, so they can try and justify flying in every immigrant from around the world to do jobs that can easily be done by the people already here, especially when they're all losing their old jobs because of the current situation. This here needs to be stopped, and it needs to be stopped now. There is countless people out there looking for these jobs and obviously applying for them. Why are we bringing people in? It must be stopped. And let's not forget, the people coming into this country still while we're all locked down are not even being checked for the coronavirus. It's just nonsense. We're importing people here to pick fruit and veg who could be infected with the virus. Makes a lot of sense, don't it? Now before I go, I've started doing live streams and uploading gaming content on my second channel. If you would like to come and join me for a live stream to chat in real time, have an interest in gaming related content on YouTube, or just want to follow me over there because you are a legend, the link will be down in the video description below and as a pinned comment. I hope to see you all there. Now as always, before I go, I want to thank our PayPal, Patreon, Subscribestar and YouTube members for supporting the channel, along with everyone who watches my videos. Remember to let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Leave a like, subscribe with the notification bell and share this video as it helps the channel a lot, and I will see you all in the next one.
There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons, colonies, Mr. Verhofstadt, against their empires, and that is why Britain is leaving. And it doesn't matter which language you use, we are going, and we are glad to be going. We're off.